4 months since I started the journey from graduating from UCLA to where I am right now. And I wanted to start this because the pain and the sacrifices are still quite fresh in my mind. And if you are in your 20s and you're thinking about pursuing this thing, and like you're weighing out your decisions between should I do this, should I not do this, I'm gonna walk you down through my process of how I made my decisions, because I generally was on the same spot. And just the warning is that this might not be the path for you, and you just have to be okay with that. And I'm gonna walk you down through everything. So it was about 2 weeks. It was about 2 weeks right before I walked across the stage for UCLA, and I was genuinely distraught, and I was very much worried with, number one, I have student loans to pay, I have car payments to pay, I have rent to pay, I have food to pay, I have other bills that I need to pay. And I was weighing out my decisions where should I pursue a finance route? Should I pursue something else? Or should I pursue this thing that is gonna improve everything in my life? And I'm gonna walk you down through what I made the decision, what was on the line. Okay, so I had bills to pay. But on the other side of that is, quite honestly, I'm gonna get to it, it's the approval of other people. Like, I grew up in the Philippines. I didn't have shit. And the fact that the decision was so hard for me when initially I didn't have shit really takes it home for me, because I came from nothing. From a small fishing village in the Philippines to where I was at UCLA, and making the decision and taking that leap to not take that route into accounting, finance, real estate was quite painful for me. And I sympathize for those people that are in that same position but didn't have the same background as me, because I thought that I would be more resilient and I would be more resistant to that judgment of other people when I'm making tough decisions. And lastly, what was actually on the line mathematically. So number one, it's what I think I have on the table based on what I think is on the table. Number two is a judgment of other people, and actually working at the math. And this is the part where I would definitely listen in, especially if you're thinking about starting your own business or you're wanting to do something. First part is, genuinely, there's no other better time to do it. Like, I thought about this. Would I have a higher chance of taking the entrepreneurial right now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? And the answer is, honestly, like, in your head you'd be like, oh, maybe 5 years from now when I have enough savings, or maybe 10 years from now when I'm fully settled and I have a lot of, like, buffer. But that's not really the reason why people do it. So, but when I thought about it, I'm probably not gonna take it when I'm 25, because, like, who gives up a nice life to, again, go back to zero and start from zero? 10 years from now, I'm probably gonna have kids, I'm probably gonna have a wife, and the chances of me taking the route is even slimmer than 5 years from now. So when I was weighing out my decisions, the likelihood of chance of pursuing my dream of becoming an entrepreneur was it's now or never. And that's the first reason. Like, wouldn't be a perfect time. And if I can't take it now, and if I can't take a hard decision where I am at in my life right now with everything that is at risk, I'm not gonna take it later down the road, because the risk and the sacrifice only gets bigger and it gets more heftier. The decision gets a lot harder. Like 5 years from now, let's say I have a condo and I have all these savings up. Like the pain of quitting, let's say, 100K plus job in the status that you've built is a lot more painful than taking it now. And even right now, like, I generally struggle with this because although I grew up in the Philippines, I didn't have shit. The highest achievement that I had was getting to UCLA and being in finance and getting good grades, getting to good clubs, and getting good internships. So I have status, like, subjectively, I have the most status in my life since my very beginning, since my whole life. This is the highest status that I could ever lose. And the stakes only get higher and higher. So if I wouldn't take it now, I'm not going to take it 5 years from now. I'm not going to take it 10 years from now. So that's the first part. The second part is, okay, what was actually on the line? And what was on the line is that, look, I had bills to pay. Like, okay, the tactical question was, okay, I have rent to pay, I have car to pay, I have loans to pay, like insurance or bills, anything else miscellaneous, right? So those were the things. And okay, like, but my mind started, like, I was laying everything down on the table 2 weeks before graduation. Like, I have to make a decision, and this is pretty hefty. This is like half a decade of my life on the line on one decision. The second is that, okay, could I, at the worst case scenario, could I work a coffee shop job? I could do personal training. I could work at a restaurant. All those things would be able to keep the lights on. But the fact is that that's not the reason why like, in the beginning, like, as I've talked about, okay, would I take the risk at any other time in my life? The answer is no. Like, now is the perfect time. Bills wise, would I be able to live? And the answer is yes. But the part that makes us so tough is, again, losing that status, that what people are gonna think of me. Like I have this fantasy of, like, having the girls that I've liked, or like the guys I used to hang out with, that IB interviews with, are gonna look at me like, oh, I guess Cal is just working at a coffee shop now. Like, okay, I guess he's done. So I have that fantasy in my mind of what people are going to think of me when I don't pursue what the current path is going to look like. And the fact is that everyone is on their head. Like, I'm telling you right now exactly what my exact fear was when I was making these decisions. And it's not something like, I just had so much mojo that I knew that I was gonna pursue that. I was off college at, like, a full heart with, like, full certainty that I'm gonna do and I'm gonna pursue entrepreneurship, right? So that is the second part. Could I keep the lights on? The answer is, going through that loop of what other people are gonna think. Yes, I guess. Like, my backup plan is to work at a coffee shop, and I could work at a restaurant. I could do something else. But again, it's that status. You have to get over that. So that's the second one. Okay, so we can keep the lights on. So there's that. Number 3, the big thing that generally made the decision so hard for me is this: the opportunity cost of taking the leap. And look, I've heard this from so many people, from many different entrepreneurs, like, hey, you probably should pursue a regular job first because you're gonna earn more experience. But the thing is that the opportunity cost of that next 5 years is gonna be a lot. Because 5 years from now, if I take a job in finance now, let's say at the worst case scenario, it's probably like 75K. 5 years from there and after, it would likely hit around 100K plus to 150K at the bare minimum. So the opportunity cost of not taking the leap from year 1 to 5 is there. It is real. And if you're new to the concept of opportunity cost, it's like, okay, I want to go get ice cream, but I also want to go to the gym. By going to the gym, you cost not going to the ice cream shop. That is opportunity cost of what could have happened. And that compounded from year 1 to 5 was very tough for me to conceptualize. But here's how I got through that problem. Is that when I look at my skills from now until 5 years from now, would I have more skills? That is, yes. Would I have better interview skills? That is, yes. Would I have better technical skills? That is, yes. Would I have better work ethic? Yes. Would I have something that a massive majority of population who would be interviewing against me that doesn't have? Yes, that would be a yes. So in terms of opportunity costs, I don't think that you should be truly worried about that. Because if you truly do and shoot for it and pursue what you want, you're going to learn a lot. Because it's just the name of the game. So that is solved. So just to backtrack, number 1 is, okay, what is this like? Okay, number 1 is what the people are going to think of you. Number 1. Number 2 is, what is it actually going to take to, number 1 is getting through what people are going to think of you. Number 2 is what it would actually take to pay for your bills. And actually, again, what are people going to think of you? Number 3 is the opportunity cost of your time and improvement in skills and earning potential over the long run. That would be the third part. The last part that really prevented me is generally was just, there was just so much uncertainty. Like, if I pursue this thing, the path is so unclear. This is the thing that made the decision so tough, is because from day 1 to day 5 years, I don't know what that's gonna look like. Like college, I know what that's gonna look like. For a corporate job, I know that I'm gonna go from an analyst to an associate, so a senior associate, to a VP, and so on. I knew what that's gonna look like, and what the timeline of that's gonna also look like in terms of the promotional years. And that's what also makes college so attractive, was I knew where I was gonna be 4 years from there on out. And I generally just don't know. That's what made the decision so tough. But I generally didn't have a solution for that. But hear me out. With all those 4 variables, the thing that helped me out the most is, and like the only thing that made the 4th variable a lot easier, is having friends who took the leap right before you, who are doing well, or at least making it work. I think that's the only thing that I could have pulled together to solve that fourth variable, is because the uncertainty is gonna be there. Having friends who have taken the leap and who are also in the same exact predicament you are generally helps a lot. So that's the fourth variable. When I was making this decision, I was like, oh my god. And I'm gonna tell you the thing that made me go for it. I knew that, like, I just, and this is something deep that I use to make hard decisions like these, is that 10 years from now, 40 years from now, I really imagined where my life would be. And I didn't think I could live, like, it's good to go for something, go for this, right, for the glory of it. But when I thought about 10 years from now, like, where would I be? Like, I can't see the path. I don't take this, like, it's the deep regret of not taking the leap at each moment, because since I made that decision, the decisions that I made has only gotten harder since it has gotten more complete sense. So if there's anything that I would try to tell my old self, is that if you can't even make a decision to pursue your own dreams, you're not going to survive. And the work is overwhelming. I need to learn so much, because, like, I'm gonna walk you through the decisions that I have to do for after that. Like, I have to pitch business owners. I have to deliver in those deliverables and figuring it out along the way. Finding the right partners, dealing with the partners, dealing with everything possible that could break. And balancing delivery and the growth is also going to be a teeth cutter. The decision just doesn't get any easier along the line. So if I can't even make the decision to fight for my dreams, there's no shot that you're going to actually succeed procedurally into what you're going to do. Because it's only, and this sucks, like, this is why entrepreneurship is not for everyone, is because it only gets a lot harder, it only gets more complex. Your no and the yeses gets even heavier and heavier and heavier. And if you are in your 20s and you're thinking about, should I do this thing or should I not do this thing, I would think of the path that you're going to take, because an entrepreneur isn't something that you buy. It's like me going to the gym and saying, oh my god, I'm a gym person, and then that's it. There are so much things, there's so much habits of what makes a good entrepreneur. Like, someone who's a person that is fit, they don't just go to the gym, they take care of their sleep, they take care of their food, they take care of their mental space. It's the same thing with an entrepreneur. It's the same healthy work habits of, hey, okay, no matter what happens, I'm gonna work 8 to 12 hours today. Like, that is the reality of it since I started. So, if you're thinking about going on this path, I would consider, if you have that desire to continuously to improve yourself and your skills along the line, and after the 20 minutes of me speaking about the cost and the barriers that I had to get through to make that decision, I'm going to walk you through the biggest lessons and the rewards I've had so far the last 4 months. I'm going to start with the biggest one, and that is my communication skills. Your communication skills as an entrepreneur improves so much. It's because you have to be able to transfer an idea from your perspective to another person who doesn't have the exact same experiences and beliefs that you do. And when I say communication, it's like, oh, he's good at communicating, I understand everything. And that is not the truth. Communication in itself is a skill. Like, for me, how entrepreneurship has made me a better communicator is I have to think of like, okay, if this is what the product is, if this is what the offer is, how could I create an analogy for them to fully understand what this is so that they can get it? It's like me explaining to a kid what a reward of buying an iPhone is to getting, it's like, this is a bad example, but it's like it's me explaining to a kid of why I wanted to buy a camera, and purchasing a camera is like them buying an ice cream because it's what you want. It's like me explaining that you must have your website and your social setup because it's like not having a front sign to your store for a brick and mortar. Imagine if a store didn't have a brick and mortar store that you love didn't have a store sign. How hard would it be to find that business, and two, to return to that business or to even share it to someone that you know? So that is the first one. Communication skills just get so much better. And what is the cost of not being able to communicate? Is arguments, no's, because people will shut you out if they don't understand exactly what you're saying or if it's not to their terms. And number 3, honestly, is the genuine work ethic. I now have the confidence of knowing that no matter what happens to the economy, like I hear people all the time like going, oh, the economy's shit, like the economy is going bad, like I can't do anything about it, my friend just got laid off, or something like that. Because I know that if I put my head down, I'm gonna get to something. And that gives me confidence in whatever happens in the economy, I can make it all back and survive. That I'm not reliant on an employer or someone to make a living. So the skills that you learn throughout the way is being disciplined, to being able to communicate, to be able to work hard on something, to make something useful for other people, ultimately just keeps improving. And honestly, that is the payoff, because it just never ends. That is the payoff. Like when I was weighing my decisions, I didn't know there was so much more to do. There's so much to learn that I genuinely can't. I don't know where to start. It's that overwhelming. But my whole point of this talking point is that if you're wanting to do entrepreneurship for the clout or for the monetary gain, don't do it. Generally, don't do it. If you're in your 20s and you're wanting to pursue this for the monetary gain, don't do it. because there's a lot more other jobs that you should just go for, and will get you to the exact same endpoint, monetary goal, without all the pain and the hassle of figuring it all out. But if you are someone who generally craves self-improvement and wants to keep improving your communication skills, your relationship with people, your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your family, and not to go hoo like ooh-ah of like the universe and stuff, but in the Alchemist essence, to pursue your personal legend is the only obligation that you really have, and to pursue your highest version of yourself. If you are in that realm, you should do it, because the opposite of that is regret. And honestly, there's that. That's it for me from this episode, from the decision that I had to make in the first few months, and why you should or you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.